representative of the following countries, please come forward to receive your bread. Benin, Colombia, Ecuador, Ghana, Kuwait, Mali, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru, the People's Republic of China, Philippines, Senegal, and Thailand. Most of these countries have been at battle with hunger for the past 50 years, and unstable governments have been the major cause of their stagnation and progress. Although many of these nations are quite wealthy, the distribution of wealth is very unjust. Here, people live in expensive homes, while children starve in the streets just blocks away. For the average citizen, up to 50% of their time is spent either farming or working solely for food. Many of these countries end up torn apart by war, sending millions into disease-ridden refugee camps. They are each receiving 1/4 of a loaf of bread. You may be seated.
Would a representative from the following countries please come forward to receive your bread? Chad, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Sierra Leone, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, and Zimbabwe. In these poor countries, hunger is an ever-present daily way of life. The people struggle day by day, working constantly if they can find work and if they can stay well. Here, the average citizen owns next to nothing. Hope is a foreign term to the children. An astounding 80% of the land in these countries is owned by less than 4% of the population. Although not all represented here at this conference, most of the countries in this group are from Africa. In these nations, more than 30% of the population is undernourished or starving. They are each receiving one slice of bread.
The United States of America. The strongest and greatest democracy on earth. The richest country in the world and our planet's only superpower. The largest grower and consumer of food around the globe, wasting more food on an annual basis than all of the countries in groups 2, 3, and 4 combined. Often referred to in the UN as the world's farm. The US is receiving 5 loaves of bread. You may all be seated. Would everyone please close your eyes for a moment? And think of an elderly person in your life, somebody who's close to you, who means a lot to you, who has meant a lot to you in the course of your life. Maybe it's a grandparent, maybe a teacher, maybe a mentor. And listen to this excerpt from the diary of an elderly woman. I've had no income, and I've paid no rent for many months. My landlord let me stay in the empty apartment. He felt sorry for me because I had nothing. The Friday before Christmas, he gave me $10. For days, I had nothing but water. I knew I needed food. I tried to go out, but was too weak to walk to the store. I felt as if I were dying. I saw the mailman and told him I thought I was starving. He brought me some food and made a few phone calls, and that's when they began delivering these lunches. But I had already lost so much weight that 5 meals a week were not enough to keep me going. What will I do? What is happening to me? I can't even think anymore. I just pray to God that I can survive. I keep praying I can have the will to save some of the food so I can divide it up and make it last. It's so hard to save though because I'm so hungry I want to eat it all right away. On Friday, I held over a few peas from the lunch. I ate 2 on Saturday morning. Then I got into bed with a taste of food in my mouth and waited as long as I could. Later in the day, I ate the other 2 peas. Today, I saved the container that the mashed potatoes were in, and tonight before bed, I'll lick the sides of the container. When there are bones, I keep them. This is very hard to write. I'm so ashamed of this. But these days, I boil the bones till they're soft, and then I eat them, just like a dog would. Today, there were no bones. You can open your eyes. We Americans don't consider hunger a major national concern, and yet every year, every day even, Americans die of starvation and malnutrition. That diary was from an elderly woman living outside of Boston, Massachusetts. We spend our time concerned with the lives of the Kardashians and the cast of the Jersey Shore, while millions of people in our very own backyard don't have enough to eat. We spend our time trying to have the latest style of clothes or iPods or video game systems, while our fellow brothers and sisters struggle to find enough nutrition to get through the day. Today, there is widespread recognition that humanity can, in fact, end world hunger. All of the experts have acknowledged that we have the technology, we have the resources, we have the will to overcome this devastation. There is already enough food on earth for everyone to live a healthy, well-nourished life. But this can only be achieved with the combined will and commitment of all people acting in a global effort on behalf of all humankind. Ambassadors of Kuna, your generation can and must do what ours could not. You have the talent, the love, and the power to end world hunger. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "If any of you around when I meet my day, tell them I don't want a long funeral. If you get somebody to deliver my eulogy, tell them not to talk too long. Tell them not to mention that I have a Nobel Peace Prize. That isn't important. Tell them not to mention that I have over 300 awards. That is not important. Tell them not to mention where I went to school. I would like someone to mention that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others. I'd like somebody to say that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to love somebody. I want you to say that day that I tried to walk right on the walk with them. I want you to be able to say that I did try to feed the hungry. I want you to be able to say that day that I did try in my life to clothe the naked. I want you to say on that day that I did try in my life to visit those who were in prison. And I want you to say that I tried to love and serve humanity. Yes, if you want to say that I was a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness. and all of the other shallow things will not matter. Ambassadors of Kuna, the time has come for you to be the drum majors that will put an end to world hunger. Thank you all for listening during this hunger simulation. Your officers are in the backs of the room and they all have bowls. They're going to be collecting donations.